Hi, this is Donna Marie. Skyline Radio to the world. You're simply the best, better than all the rest. Big shout out to the Godfather. You're simply the best.
Well, all right, skylineradio.org.uk. That time is coming up to that time of 4 o'clock, and we're going to talk to the lady herself. That time, I get to understand she was the queen of Lovers Rock, but we will ask her the question, where was that? Because I'm sure I didn't hear her when I was in my time, but she has a title somewhere else right now, and well loved by many people around the world. Of course, Donna Marie. But in the meantime, between time, let's have some entertainment from her right now. People, stand by. Big people music and big people style. The young ones, you learn something from this show. You can learn something from this show. Them said don't be hard hearing. Them said don't be hard hearing. Take some time to listen and learn something right now. skylineradio.org.uk. Let's take a listen to Donna Marie before we talk to her live on the big one.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna love her. She's behind the stage, she's in pink and she looks gorgeous. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the one and the only Miss Donna Marie.
How you doing? Woo-hoo! Place is full, nice and lovely people. Bedford myself. I see you. Woo! How you doing? You good? Come on, come on, come on. so happy. You said you never had it so good. And I gave you all my love because I love you. And I knew you did me so. You know I can't stop love. Can't stop love. And you know, baby, no, 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 no,
www.skylineradio.org.uk.
don't think I can feel that there's something wrong. You've been the sweetest part of my life so long. Look in your eyes and there's a distant light. You and I love will be a storm tonight. But this is getting serious. Are you thinking about you or us? Don't say what you're about to say. I let me hear you speaking now. Look back before you leave my life. Your turn. Be sure before you close that door. For you run.
Sounds of Donna Marie. And I'm sure she'll tell you more about that show when she comes on live.
Baby, think twice for the sake of our love and the memory. For the fire and the fame that was you and me. Never going as it is when the soul cries up higher ground. 'Cause when you're halfway up, you're only halfway down. This is getting serious. Are you thinking about you or us? Don't say what you're about to say. Sing it with me now. Look back before you leave my life. Be sure before you close that door. I hear you for you run those eyes. Now, baby, think twice. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Oh, baby, this is serious.
Hi, this is Donna Marie. A big shout out to the Godfather. Keeping it real. Skyline Radio to the world.
Twice.
Hi, this is Donna Marie. A big shout out to the Godfather. Keeping it real. Skyline Radio to the world. If only, if I had my way, if I rule the world, you better take my word. I would make it a better place for all the human race. All of the sadness would be erased. No more hunger and no more pain. If I had my way. Hi, this is Donna Marie. A big shout out to the Godfather. Keeping it real. Skyline Radio to the world.
Well, okay, my people. Stand by for the Queen herself. I tell you, Donna Marie.
If I had my way, if I rule the world, you better take my word. I would make it a better place for all the human race. All of the sadness would be erased. No more hunger and no more pain. If I had my way, if I rule the world, if I had my way, if I had my way. Ooh.
Good afternoon, Donna.
Good afternoon, Godfather.
I'm good, thank you. Let me just get to the right volume for you right now today. Of course, it's been a busy time for all of us. You've been busy yourself, and I've been busy too as well. But after last week, I want to thank you for finding the time to be with us today on this Bank Holiday Monday.
Okay.
And how are you?
Welcome.
Yeah, and I did say to you last time it would have been in October, but I was at home looking at the calendar and I said, hang about, I could fit her in today's program. So, of course, you're here right now. So it's the best time, too, as well, because many people are relaxing after a tremendous weekend and resting as well.
Yeah, that's right. With it being Carnival weekend and, busyness.
That's right.
Lots of busyness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And not many people have actually, well, it's more like the youngsters' time for carnivals now. I think I've done my time. And many people also done their time also too. So it's down to the youngsters now to enjoy themselves and join the history of the carnival. Not just in London, not just in London, but also Yorkshire as well. There's one in Leeds also. I get to understand too.
So I heard.
Yeah. But anyway, it's all about you right now. And like I said, thank you for joining us today. You've been busy. You've been tremendously busy. Even down to last night, you were performing as well. And also 2 weeks ago, you was with my friend as well, a colleague that we've had here on the platform before, AJ Franklin. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 Well, let's start off with one I played a little while ago. You were performing live. You was all in pink, looking very good as usual. Tell us about that event that took place when you were live on stage.
Okay, so that event was the Giants of Lovers Rock. And that was last October, I believe. Let me just get this right, or was it November? Anyway, it was last year, 2022. There was quite a few UK acts on the bill. And that was at the O2 in London.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. It sounded like it was a big event as well. Many different artists. Yeah, of course. But like I said, it's all about you, of course, and you've come from a long way in the industry of music and hearing many people sing many different songs in your early days. But you started off in the of course, like everybody else, the churches in Jamaica. Tell us about how you started that and what made you love music.
Well, this probably speaks for most or a lot of artists where, you have to go to church if your parents are in church.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to go to church when I was younger in Jamaica. But I didn't really break out into the singing, the market, as one would say. I was merely in church, developing my talent, And when you sing in church every Sunday, that's the best exercise you can get.
Okay. Yes. Was you the only family member that used to go to church as well, or what about your rest of your siblings?
No, this is what I'm saying. The whole family had to go to church. My mom and dad were in the church.
Mm-hmm.
My brother and my sisters were there. We had to go to church.
Okay. So out of all of you, who shined out the most out of all of you? Was it you or or the members of the family?
Well, I guess singing, yes. Singing-wise, yes, it was me. I was bestowed upon with a talent from God.
Okay.
Which I truly love and appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
During that time, you also joined you was one of the main choir singers in the church as well.
Yes, after a while, when I got a bit older, I became the lead singer in a group, a church group. We used to have the church choir, and then out of the church choir was selected the very best, and then that was the church group. And I was the lead singer there.
Okay, so while you was doing all that in Jamaica, when did you leave the country? At what point you were in the industry of music? Did you get a chance to do any recordings within Jamaica before you left, or what age were you at the time?
Yeah, let me set you straight. So, growing up in Jamaica, I didn't go into any recordings, like I was saying earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually start recording until, actually, you'd be surprised, I was in my 30s when I actually, was I in my 30s or late 20s? Late 20s, early 30s, when I actually did my first album, because my first album I did was in 1989. Sometimes I get this wrong, I have to rethink it. So it was 1989, I started recording with Pioneers, Sidney Cooks from the Pioneers.
Okay.
Do you remember the Pioneers?
I heard of the Pioneers, yes.
You remember a track that goes like this, long shot, kick a bucket?
Who don't forget about long shots? Of course, we all know that song.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
so
we all know that song.
One of the singing members from that group was Sidney Crooks, and I started recording with him.
Okay.
And yeah.
So what was the title of the album, the first album you did?
My first album was called, it was Reggae Love Music, so it was a series of different volumes, and that was volume 1, Reggae Love Music volume 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the theme tune from that, the debut single was called On the Outside, and that's from the theme tune, Cell Block H. I know a lot of people would remember watching Cell Block H. It used to come on the TV prison series.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I covered the theme song from that, and that was my debut single.
Okay.
Yeah, released in 1989.
Okay. Now let's start your journey from Jamaica. Of course, before we go further from there, what part of Jamaica was your family from?
My family was from St. Elizabeth, and I lived there for a while before I moved to Kingston to be with another family member.
Okay. So let's talk about leaving the country now. It's time for you to leave the country and join the family in England. What was it like for that journey, that thought that you were going to leave and you was told you're going to England now? How did you feel about that?
Oh, gosh, it got silly. It was exciting, but some of it got silly. So, yes, I was leaving Jamaica and coming to England to be with my parents, and, the excitement was amazing. But in those last few days, I remember one person saying something silly like, oh, you need to look up when you go through the clouds because you're going to see heaven. And I used to think, huh? I was quite young. And, that was silly. But
Well, not really, because many other people who came from Jamaica were thinking the same thing too, as well. You know,
Really?
thinking that
Oh, my days.
yeah, I mean, thinking that the roads were paved with gold and all that, and the image that was given to them at the time before they got there, and I'm sure a lot of people would recognize and have the experience that you've been through as well.
Yes, they did say that the streets are paved with gold. Yeah. But I actually thought that after the plane gets through the clouds, disappears through the clouds, if I look up, I might see Heaven Gate. Oh well, if I saw Heaven Gate, that would have been a different story. But yeah, the landing now was strange because when the plane was like coming down and you start to get a bit of a visual of the Earth face, I was just seeing a lot of lines, and as it gets closer, I realized that these lines were rows of houses, and you know it was grey and murky with little smokes coming out of some of these lines, which was chimneys at the time, but I didn't know. I'd never seen anything like it.
Okay.
And you know it was kind of strange, but yeah, we landed, and here I was in the UK, totally different lifestyle, absorbing everything that was different, you know, family life. Because one of the things is, in Jamaica, when you wake up in the morning, you are outdoors. For whatever reason, you don't sit around inside the house, you're outdoors. So even that was a massive change for me because, you know, it was winter. It was just, I'll tell you when it was end of March. And so it was still, for me, very chilly.
Yeah, that time,
yeah. It was home, and I'm in the gate, and then we're in the house, and then we're just in the house. It was kind of strange not having the outdoors and having that freedom and that freeness of spirit just to, you know, take in the outdoors was different. It was really different. Mm-hmm. But, you know, by and by, I started school because I finished my schooling here. So my last couple of years of schooling was, you know, here. And, you know, I left a culture where, you know, we need to look prim and proper. And the girls, especially the girls, took pride in how they look, how they appear. Mm-hmm. You know, even if it's a competition against each other, you know, the pleats had to stay crisp. We had to come home looking like how we went out in the morning. So coming here, I think I was saying this to you the other day, I noticed that there was a difference. It wasn't, you know, they weren't so strict, it wasn't such a thing. But you were saying that you went to, the school you went to, it had to be that way.
We couldn't miss it because our school was boys and girls, you know, and obviously, like I said to you, with my sisters, my mom makes sure they had to look good, you know, so everything had to be ironed properly and look good. So, yeah, it was the way, that's the way it was back in them days, you know, so... Yeah. So obviously, schooling in them days was a bit strange, and we're talking about. I don't know if I'm talking about the 60s or the 70s. I don't know, you know, your age right now, but 60s and 70s, we really realized how things were, and in the 80s, how schooling was, and a lot of things that changed, and also the type of money. When you came to this country, what type of money was you using at the time? Was it pennies or shillings or the nowadays money?
No, shillings had been gone a couple of years before I came here.
Okay.
And pounds and pennies, but we had the half pen. Well, we had that up to quite a time anyway.
Okay, that time then.
And we still had pounds in paper.
Okay.
Remember when the pound was a paper money, a green paper money? Mm-hmm.
Well, it still is the green paper money now, but was it the first time we had a fiver at that time?
No, the paper, the smallest paper money was £1 and it was green, but now the fiver...
Oh, that's right, that's true, that is true.
The fiver has taken its place.
Yeah, that is true. That is very true.
Yeah.
I forgot about that, you know. Oh, yes, of course.
I tell you, we pack in so much memories that little things can just slip us sometimes until we start talking about them.
Yeah. So while you was at school, obviously, did you take part in any school lessons in terms of music?
Right, when I came here?
Yeah.
Very little. I found that they were very selective in how they pushed the kids here. I'm going to say kids. I'm not going to put any label on it. certain type of kids in this country, I found that they would direct you to sport or drama or that type of thing. Music, even though I would have absolutely loved to be doing music in school, I did very little of that. I got as much as playing a recorder.
Okay.
Yeah, and, that's about it for me, really.
Right. So did you get a chance to use your vocal cords to hear how good you were as a singer?
No, it wasn't a thing. I didn't push it, and maybe they didn't even know, to be honest. When you're young and you don't have all your aspirations, and you may be talented, but you might not have discovered what you have in you just yet. At that time, I'm still, all I know is that I love music and I love singing and that I will jump at any opportunity.
Okay.
But I didn't see it as a talent. Almost like others would hear me, but I didn't hear myself.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Yes,
but
yes,
I didn't see it as, oh, I'm good at this, or, oh, I want to do this. Even though in the depths of my spirit, I would see other artists and wish I was them. So in other words, deep in my heart, I knew what I loved, but I didn't see it as a talent, and I didn't push it, to say, this is what I want to be.
Okay.
So subconsciously, I would be jealous, or zealous is a better word. When you're zealous of something, is that you would like to be like them, but when you're jealous now, that's not such a kind word.
Okay, that's a good way of putting it. I've never heard that one.
Sense,
yeah, it does. So what made you start in that division, that area? How did you get started? How did you get recognized in the industry?
Well, it was a good while after school. I had left church. I had children. Life was happening.
Okay.
And then I happened to know a couple of people who had bands. They weren't big. They were just doing their little thing, and I would do a bit of backing singing here and there.
Okay.
But lo and behold, one day a small producer came, he called me and he said, I had somebody come and done some recording with me and he's looking for people who can sing. And I recommended you. Sorry, I'm a bit husky because I was out late last night, so I'm kind of tired today.
No, don't
I might
worry.
sound a bit husky. Yeah. And he said, he mentioned me and, the man wants to meet me. He's interested. So I kind of listened to him and I said, yeah, okay. Very casually, didn't take it as anything. And the day came when we had made an appointment and I was at home enjoying my new carpet because I remembered that I had just carpeted my downstairs in the house, and I was sprawled out on my carpet, and the phone rang, landline. I answered it. Well, of course, landline. We didn't have mobile phones then. I answered the phone, and the producer said to me, "You're supposed to be meeting Sydney today. Where are you?" And I said, "Oh, yeah." And I literally jumped up, literally freshed up, grabbed my bag, coat, and was out the door. And yes, that was the first time I met Sidney Cooks, and he said, sing something. So I sang a little bit, and he said, I love your voice. And yeah, that was it from the off. But to say from the off, I didn't really know the music business that time. And I'll tell you something, this is a story you will hear from many artists who started out young. I didn't know the business, didn't know how to go about the business. I was just interested in singing. It wasn't long after that meeting that we started to record. And 4 albums later, I was still waking up to the fact that, well, the music is out there, but what's happening here with me? Financially, nothing was happening with me.
Right, okay.
So knocking that part of it on the head for now. I continued singing. I started doing little things with UK artists. And I remember a particular time I had to do a show. John Campbell was on the bill, and there used to be a club in London called the Shady Grove.
Shady Grove.
Nice little venue, that was.
Okay.
And, yeah, I had a show there to see. And I got there, I arrived, at the show the night, and I noticed that there was this everlasting queue going way down the road. We were coming up the road, and I'm like, where is this queue? What are they queuing for? So I got to the door and realized that this queue was coming out of the Shady Grove. So when we step up to the door, it turns out it was packed inside. The show was oversold, sold out and oversold, and they couldn't get any more people in the door. And I was like, what? And it took a few people to squeeze at the crowd just to get me through, just to get me to the stage.
Wow.
And that was an amazing night for me on discovering that, my music was actually saying something to somebody.
Okay, so at the time when you did several albums with the person that you met for the first time, as you said, the music was out there, but you heard nothing after that for a little while. Not realizing that after that, people had been listening to your songs, and when you got to this venue, this is when you realized that your songs was going places.
Yeah, that's right, because even after that, I still was only obviously focused on London, just what I was seeing, in front of me. And, things just went beyond me. The music exceeded me. And I can safely say this, it happened because once the product is produced, if the producer don't use the artist to promote the product and to keep it together as one product, then the artist can easily get left behind. And so that's what happened. And I didn't know how far afield our music had gone.
Right.
But it went worldwide, I can say.
Okay. Now, let's go to another stage here right now. Now, I had seen many stuff based on your bio and other information, and somewhere around the world they're classing you the queen of lovers rock. Now that wasn't in England. Where was this?
No, this is in Brazil.
Right. Why was that? What was happening in Brazil around you?
Right. So after leaving from Pioneers, obviously, things weren't great there, and I decided that, I need to actually just move on now. I wanted to do a different style of music as well, because what I did with Pioneers was big people music. That's the collection that he wanted. So me coming into the business went straight into big people music, unlike the lovers rock singers of that time. And so I moved on to long disc records, and I was now allowed and more able to be more selective of the type of music that I wanted to do. So I kind of still did it big people, but a little bit more current, and the type of tracks I was able to select when I do covers was more to my liking, which was more appealing to my crowd. So on going to long disc records, we worked on an album, and the album was ready for the road. We did everything, the cover, the printing for the vinyl, everything was done, and in the background, I'd been hearing this song, Think Twice by Celine Dion. And then, it just kind of had a grip on me, and I thought, this song. So my husband then, who was also a musician, I kept singing it to him, and I kept saying to him, come on, we can do something with this. So what we did, cut to the chase, we actually created a whole sound at home. We created the vibe, the groove of it, because that's important. You have to get it in the pocket to make people move. We had the groove, everything was all done at home, and I went to London, and I said to him, look, I know that the album is ready for the road, but this song, Think Twice, is actually at number 2 on the British chart.
Right.
I said, it's gonna go number 1. And he said, what makes you think that? I haven't even heard this song. I said to him, have a listen. He listened. And he said, yeah, it's all right. It's a nice little song, but, I'm not feeling that. I don't think. And it's been in number 2 for so long, I don't think it's gonna drop down. So I said to him, listen to me. I said, in number one spot right now is Cotton Eye Joe. I said, that track is just, when that track comes out of that position, Think Twice will go number one because it hasn't dropped down the chart. It's been sat at number two for many weeks.
For quite some time.
And
Okay.
so he let me record the track, even though he's saying he's not feeling it. We recorded the track, and heaven knows, Celine Dion's track dropped in the number one spot. And my track dropped in the number one spot. It flew up the reggae charts so fast. It was unbelievable, including being number 5 on the Canadian chart, number 1 at Jetstar chart, different charts in the UK. And it took off. It literally took off. But again, it kind of took off on its own.
How long did it stay on the charts for at the time in England?
I couldn't tell you because I was a little unaware at first of what was happening.
Okay.
But I will tell you this much. When it was Jetstar decided, because they were buying it from Londis Records, because it was a big seller.
Right, okay.
But then Jetstar realized that something big was happening with this, and they licensed it from Londis Records. So now it became, Jetstar had it as a product. And Jetstar promoted this track around the world. Everywhere their music went, Think Twice was in the forefront. It was a leader for a while.
Okay.
And so even in holiday resorts and places like that, it was blaring.
Which which must have been a very good feeling for you to hear your song, the one that you said to people that you're feeling it and they couldn't feel it. How did they feel about after you got to that stage? What was their immediate response to you?
Say that again. Where?
So after they realized that your song had gone to number one, your song had reached where to reach after you said you were feeling it. The people who said that they weren't feeling it, how did they feel afterwards when they heard that your song was doing so well?
Yeah, it's the producer who said he wasn't feeling it and didn't want to do it, but so we recorded it. And then it took off. So he was laughing, really, at the end of the day.
Right.
He was laughing. He was in shock, actually, that he had this big seller. And I'll tell you what he did. He had to edit the album so that he could make Think Twice at number one on the album, because Think Twice wasn't going to be on the album at all. Right. So cutting to the chase now. The stuff that I'd been doing with Londis Records, I hadn't realized that they had hit Brazil. So my name's been growing in Brazil, Nicaragua, Polynesia, Tongan people, Hawaii, you name it, all of those places. It had been going on and I had no idea. But when Think Twice hit Brazil, something happened and it went viral. They were looking for me, and the first place they went was Jamaica. They said they'd been looking for me for over a year in Jamaica, and they keep bumping into another Donna Marie, but it wasn't me. And then somebody decided that they will check the information on the record sleeve. And so they did. They called Londis Records, and that's where they found me.
Okay.
So then a tour was planned, and the tour happened. And I was told that I'm going to Brazil to do 3 little shows. And I wasn't happy with the financial side of it, on my discovery. I thought to myself, well, no, if I'm going abroad to do some shows, I'm sure I could do a little bit better than that. Mm-hmm. And I was told that, we're trying to, get more money for you, and we're working on it. And that was it. Me, still green. But I'm going to cut to the chase. When I got to Brazil, we took a band from the UK. And on arrival, we were bombarded. The airport was bombarded. And when
you say
I remember, I've told the story a few times.
You mean when you say bombarded with your fans?
Yeah, bombarded like a carnival was happening at the airport. I mean, bombarded. So let me explain. We landed and all the passengers on the plane were off the plane. And while they were getting off, I was a little bit edgy. I just couldn't wait to get off of this long flight I've been on for so long, because we had connecting flights and the wait in between. It was long.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the promoter had sent an escort over here to be with us, see that things were running right, and to escort us back over to Brazil. And so he said, Donna Marie, wait. So I looked at him and I said, Natty, why are you making me wait? And he said, Donna Marie, because they never say Donna Marie, that's another thing. That's my name in Brazil. Donna Marie, many people wait for you. And at the time, I actually thought he was trying to say, you mustn't wait this time because, the people have waited on you, whatever.
Okay.
I took it as that, and so I sat down and be quiet. And then everyone was off, and then he called the band to come off. So I thought, okay, teach me a lesson. So the band came off, and I'm frowning. And then he looked at me, and there was a big grin, and he said, okay, Donna Marie, you come now. So I came, and I stepped out to the door of the plane to come down. And I heard massive roaring and fireworks and noises and all kinds of things going on. Sounded crazy. So I looked at him, and I said to him, wow, that's a lot of noise. Are they expecting someone special today, or is there an event going on nearby or something? Because I couldn't make sense of it. I didn't really know. And he popped up laughing, and he said, I told you, Donna Marie, many people wait for you. And then I got it.
Okay.
And there was so much people, it caused chaos. We couldn't check out. We had to gather the passports and send them with someone to check us through. And we had to get the tour bus to come onto the platform where the plane was, to escort us from there. When we hit the street, I can only describe it as the look and size of a carnival. The streets were lined with thousands of people.
Wow.
People, yeah, and
Wow.
we were in a slow motorcade, and there was people jogging up alongside the car, and I went to open the window, and somebody said, no, don't open the window, they'll pull you out. And I'm saying, I'm only cracking it a little bit. It was some amazing thing. I was still trying to catch my breath and actually waking up and pinching myself and saying, wait a minute, is this really happening, And they're like, Donna Marie. And I remember when I cracked the window, there was a big guy running up alongside there and, beating his chest and hitting the window. And he says, me Jamaican, me Ivan. I'm like, okay. He really spoke English.
Okay.
Yeah, and
it was a great start to your arrival in of course Brazil. And Brazil, they love reggae music and they love the style.
They cannot get enough of it, I tell you. These people celebrate reggae music all day long. I can't even explain it. You have to see it for yourself.
Well,
they absolutely, yeah.
In history,
and
they
love the older style.
Yes.
Reggae, original reggae.
They do.
Reggae, rocksteady.
I know that in history, majority of people, largest convert of our people from the days of slavery days were also based in Brazil. They have a very big Caribbean and African family base.
Very mixed.
Yeah,
that's right.
Very
mixed.
And I know they love the likes of many, like you just mentioned, the songs that you sing yourself and many others. And I can remember they loved Gregory Isaacs as well. Very much.
They did.
Oh, gosh.
They love Gregory Isaacs. They absolutely love Eric Donaldson.
Right.
They absolutely love him. They own him.
It's like...
they own.
I could just,
he's their guy.
Yeah, I could just imagine them singing Cherry Old Baby in their language,
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, well, I tell you what, they don't sing Cherry Old Baby in their language. They sing it word for word because they've learned the words, even if they don't know what they're singing and they don't know what it means.
Okay.
They've learned the words, they've learned the melody.
Okay.
And, yeah, they will sing the whole song. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so how long did you spend time at the time in Brazil then?
Well, I've been back a few times. The first time, we were out there for 2 weeks. I did 3 shows over there. The first show I did was we had about 35,000 people on that show or more. you know. And then 2 smaller ones like 20,000 and 18,000.
Still a large number though. Still a large number.
Still large numbers.
Even
Yes.
even 18,000 is a large number. You don't get that down here. You know, not for
exactly.
unless I don't know if even if Beres Hammond can reach that number. You know, or
Yeah, he'd need a stadium, but yeah.
you know, what I mean, probably
Yeah.
probably just about get Buju Banton after him release still, but that's a high number still. That's a very good number. So you've been down there 3 times, and you became the queen at that time in Brazil.
Yeah, I've been there 4 times.
Okay.
4
All right.
times. Yeah.
So
times.
let's go forward on your release back from, of course, Brazil, and have that excitement of being the way that you didn't expect to be, but it was a great time, great experience. Coming back to England now, how did your fit in stay with you in terms of Lovers Rock in this part of the country now?
Well, obviously, two different worlds in a sense, because I live here. So what it was, I had to come back here and then come down. I had to come down off of the high. So I'm back here. I can't believe what just happened.
Right.
How the excitement that is there. I came back here and it felt like there was just nothing happening here. I'm like, okay, but it's still here. I don't think people really love reggae music here as much as they do out there. You could just feel the difference. You know, the gravity wasn't the same. But like I said, I'm from here, so I come back and it's back to home, you know, where it's all at. But you know something? Before I actually went to Brazil, my first biggest experience in the UK was when I did a show with Bonnie Whaler and Prince Lincoln. I was trying to remember that name. Prince Lincoln. Them two was on a show. It's either 95 or 96 in Finsbury Park, because Bonnie Whaler don't come here often at all. I think that was the first time he had been back in the UK in 20 years. So, great opportunity. But still on the other hand, London was happening. I'm a little bit out of London. I'm not in London, so I still didn't even realize that. You know, people were actually taking me in as much as they were. But yeah, that was my first biggest live experience, which was really nice. You know, meeting those people who, to me, they were my icons. You know. And to be on the same stage with them was a mark in my music history, to say the least, really.
Okay. Okay. Experience. Now, you find yourself, in terms of being the queen, being amongst many other queens in this country as well at the time. Because obviously Lovers Rock had just, you know, Lovers Rock belongs to us here in England. You know, we are.
That's right. British Lovers Rock. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you was to talk about Lovers Rock in any other country, it couldn't stand up against the English reggae Lovers Rock, because it was something different.
Different. That's why I said British Lovers Rock, because me, you know, in Brazil they may say they didn't say I'm the Queen of Lovers Rock. I think they said Queen of Reggae.
Yeah.
Which is,
but even then I would have asked, what type of reggae are we talking? Are we talking roots, culture, or Lovers Rock? You've had to have something, you know?
That's right, because reggae has a lot of different styles under the umbrella of reggae. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, you have rocksteady as well, you know. So yeah, there's a lot of different, yeah. But yeah, that's what they hailed me, and I guess that is for them over there on that side. But the UK has a few reggae queens.
Oh yes,
certainly.
Yeah. Now, during that time, recognizing who the reggae queens were at the time.
Well, it goes without saying.
It does. I just wanted to find out, and the audience know, where about you were at the time when you came up from Brazil. Where did you fit in that then? Because obviously Louisa Marks was the main one. And then Carol Thompson, Janet Kay, and...
Right, now you're talking. Because Louisa Marks, Carol Thompson, Janet Kay being British chart you know, she was charting. She was the one on top of the pops, you know.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So really, she was carrying the flag. Yeah, yeah. But then you had other people who were there as much. Sylvia Teller, you know. You had Paulette Tarja that came a little bit later, though.
Yeah, and don't, not forgetting as well, I always look at the four main ones. And Carol Thompson, Janet Kay, Louisa Marks, and Sandra Cross also as well.
Sandra Cross. Yeah, that's right. She was one of them as well. Staple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so hearing those girls.
Yeah, so
hearing
into that. Well, I think, I'll tell you how it was. I wasn't one of those lovers rock singers. Because in the UK, I was saying earlier, in the UK, when they were doing lovers rock, I was doing big people music.
Okay.
So, as Mr. Palmer of Jetstar once told me, he said to me, Donna, you have your own industry. And I didn't get it. But what he meant was I was doing something only me as a female was doing in the UK at the time.
At the time. Yes.
I was doing big people music of a different kind, and it wasn't lovers rock at that time. I actually went towards lovers rock more when I went and signed with Jetstar. Again, wanting to slightly change, you know, the way things were done, because I felt that the people who I was entertaining, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but being positive, the people that I was entertaining, if I stayed in that genre of just doing big people music, then I felt then that it would have faded with those people, because then if I'm only going to entertain the older generation, it would mean that when they fade away from the parties and the dances, who would I be entertaining unless, you know, I had something. So that's why when I went to Jetstar, I changed, but I didn't completely change. I didn't just go British lovers rock. I went lovers rock as in, because now Jamaica had also adapted lovers rock, but their side of it now was a little bit more up-tempoed. It wasn't so laid back. They didn't have no wallpaper to rub off, you see, so they had to just do they had to just do their way of it, and you know, it's still good, you know.
Okay,
I
like the way you said that. Then, so your tunes never reached the wallpaper. Then,
say that again. My tunes never.
I says your songs in terms of lovers rock didn't reach at the time the wallpaper, like the rest of the ladies who sang lovers rock.
Oh no, I was slightly little bit more up tempo than them until a certain time. Because having said that, I'll tell you this: when I did lovers rock, I know I said I only did lovers rock when I went to Jetstar. There was a couple of lovers rock tunes that I did at Londis Records, and one of them was In Loving You.
Okay.
Yeah, In Loving You. Now, I'm trying to think of the original singer. Apart from Junior English, the writer of In Loving You was my head ain't serving me too good today.
Well, I can understand that, and I'm trying to find. You've got some more songs out there that I haven't got all of them on my computer right now. I'm just strolling while you're talking, trying to find certain songs, and you've done so many songs out there that I got lost in some of your songs. But it's nice to it's nice to play and reminisce some of the songs that you've done. There's one particular track that I wanted to play last time we spoke, and I just couldn't get it together. I don't know. Everything just went to pot last week. Even nothing was playing properly. But I have it here with me right now. And this one is a track that came on an album, and it came on as the last track on the album. And you was told, I don't know what happened, but it got moved from the last track to number 4 in the album. Do you know which track?
Yes,
yeah.
I think I know the track. It was me who wanted the track to be the last one, because I didn't think it was going to drop with the time. I just didn't think that it was going to fit. I didn't think that it was going to be absorbed by the people. And I said, I'll just put this one as a last track on the album. I think I know the one you're talking, because I remember that actually happening. Yeah.
And then
they said no, we put it at number 4.
Okay, so when it got moved, then what actually happened with that track? Did it become the favorite track on the album?
Well, it did. It did become the favorite track on the album, and it took London by storm. I was like, what? You know. Yeah.
Well, all right. Let's let the audience hear what we're talking about right now. All right.
Okay.
It is 9 minutes before the hours of 5 o'clock, and I think we're going to go into overtime on this one. Not to worry. It is Bank Holiday Monday. Sorry, and we're going to enjoy the song of this one that we were talking about. That was at the end of the album, but she got moved and became the top-selling tune from the album. Take a listen to this here right now. Scannerradio.org.uk. Godfather Live inside the music room here talking to Donna Marie today. Endlessly, that song there. You're telling me that never off no wallpaper as well? Donna Marie, you there? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, I thought we got cut off then. That song there, like I just said, you're telling me that tune didn't rub off no wallpaper as well amongst the Lovers Rock?
Yeah.
You see that tune there? When it comes to certain big people tuning up, they're all just as good as the Lovers Rock. A Lovers Rock is good, but you see when you come down to the later hours of the night, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and party and nice up and blues are going the most way. Them tunes are the ones. Them are the tunes that join the ranks of Lovers Rock. Trust me.
Yes, it did, but it was for them a little bit more mature, I think. You see, it's not always about my own opinion, but I guess from where I'm sitting, that's how I saw it. It's as much as it is Lovers Rock, the mature kind also gravitated to it.
Well, that is true because it covers both sides, whether you're young or old. Yeah. It has something that does something for everybody. You know what I mean? That tune there speaks for itself, and the word in itself says a lot also. And the rhythm to it as well. And there's been other cuts to it as well, but yours sounds pretty good. And it was good. You know?
Yeah.
Who were the producers on this one for you at the time?
Producer. So, London's Records is the executive producer, but the musicians I actually worked with was Victor Cross.
Okay. Victor Cross, okay.
Victor Cross is Sandra Cross's brother. Brilliant musician. I had Black Steel, who is an absolute gem musician. Mm-hmm. You know, I love Black Steel. He just has a feel that was the right feel, you know. And I also worked with him and Michelle Cross, who was Victor Cross's wife, on the backing vocals, and we just had a sound. We created a sound between the three of us for the backing vocals. So all the time I was getting, you know, this original sound, and it was just absolutely amazing.
When you sing
some other musicians that I'm trying to remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, when you sing this one on stage, what's the response from the audience when you sing this one?
Oh, they're totally involved. Totally involved. If you don't mind, I don't need to sing that song because they will sing that song for me. Yeah. The response is always amazing.
I can just imagine the amount of time you had to rewind that song again and start it again because women, they love certain songs, and to hear females singing in such a way, you know, we have the men doing their thing, but it's very difficult to find good talent from the female side and to be amongst the men them as well, you know.
Yeah, there's a song that says it's a man's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a woman or a girl.
Well, that is
So to
true.
speak.
That is true. Nothing without a woman's touch, I tell you. You did a song as well. I love this one also too as well. And this one was just as good as Endlessly. But I like this one. I'm gonna play it for you right now. Take a listen to this.
Okay, let's hear it.
Listen to me, darling. Hear what I say. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm your key to set you free. You can come to me anytime for comfort. Don't be shy.
You have it titled as After Tonight. The original one is called Baby After Tonight. You do a lot of covers on different songs from different artists, but you made it your own style and brought that tempo of the big people style to the audience.
Okay, which song are you playing now? Because obviously,
You
I'm not
you
listening
can't
because
okay, you can't hear it after
I can't, because
after
it'll give you interference.
yeah. The song is called After Tonight.
Ah, yes. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you have a tendency of bringing these songs that has been around for a good while, and bringing them back and playing them to the audience, and I've been told.
Yeah, the idea is to give it a new flavor. If you're going to bring something back, it should sound better than the one before. It should be new. So, yeah, me applying myself to it that's what I do. Yeah. Apply my vibes to it. Yeah, how I feel it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this was also put together from the same people that you spoke about from the other song, from Endlessly? Same people, same band?
No, you'd be surprised. This one was from Pioneers.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is
Yeah.
so hold on. So this is from the beginning then, when you first went into the studio then?
Yeah, this is from the beginning when I was with Pioneers, but say Sydney Cook. But that was one of the better tracks that came out of there.
Okay.
That's one of the tracks that came from there. But then, I've got one opinion, and my audiences and my fans, they have their own opinion. Everyone has their favorite.
That's true. And that's why sometimes when you play an album, sometimes for the first couple of minutes listening to the album, you got your favorites, and after a while, when you kind of calm down and had time to sort of relax, you put the album on. I'd be amazed at the tracks that you thought wasn't as good as in the beginning become your favorites later on in life.
Yeah, what's the thing?
Yeah.
I would never have thought it, yeah.
Never underestimate an album. Every track is a winner, but every track has its moments in time.
Yeah, that's right. The many moods for different people and different moods.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let me go to another one that I also particularly love. I know the audience love it as well. Can't Stop Loving You. You know what I'm talking about. Can't Stop Loving You.
Yeah, that one now, that track, I wrote that track.
Okay.
And I didn't release that track until when I was at Jetstar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Jetstar was a distributor, and also later on in life, he created a studio. Did you create any any songs in the studio, or was that done somewhere else?
Yes, all of the recordings I did for Jetstar was in their studio, Cave Studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear that song right now. Can't Stop Loving You. Let's hear it right now. This was a big tune back in them days, and still a big tune even now, because sometimes it reminiscing about things that used to happen in your life or other people's life when this tune was around. What made you sing? Yeah. What made you write? Obviously, you said you wrote this song. What made you write this song in the way you did?
Well, this song, so you have to have imagination when you write. And sometimes you can write your own story, or you can write his or her story. And this one wasn't my story, but it was an imagination of a situation that many had gone through, you know. Losing your guy, and you're holding your pillow, and it's a thing.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a thing. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a story.
So
it's an experience of life and love and loss.
Right. So you wrote the song. Who was behind the rhythm for this song?
Right. So when I released the song, because when I wrote this song, I didn't write it in any form. It was just a song without music. And so it could have easily have been an R&B song or a soul song or whatever. But when I went to work at Jetstar, in the Cage studio, we had Mafia and Fluxy. I'll give you a little joke about that as well. When I introduced the song to them and they say, sing a little piece, I wasn't very used to those guys and I was a bit shy. And I thought, okay, I've got to be brave. So I started singing and one of them said, oh, yeah, I know this song. I've got it in my record box at home. And me not knowing he was joking, I looked at him and I said, no, you don't. I wrote this song and I'm really being very defensive. And then they just cracked up laughing and said, "Child, we're just playing with you." you know. And they said, all right, just sing from the top and we're going to follow you. And I sang from the top and they started dropping the rhythm live. And I was amazed.
Wow.
I was amazed. They pick up that bass line so quick. And before you know it, we're into a rhythm. And I sang it the second time round. And yep. We started recording.
Wow.
Started recording the music side of it.
You know, it's amazing how some musicians can just make you sing and then just start build something together and all of a sudden everything all bounce into place and it's sounding, because the way that it sounds on this song, it's like I would have thought it took some time to get everything together on this one, but it sounds so well done, so arranged in such a way that Big People.
They really dropped it,
yeah,
because
man.
I knew it. I had all the melody and the lyrics packed down. I had it. That was the way it was going to be. But they were so creative and so quick. I rate those guys, I tell you.
Let me say one thing to you. This song must have been played enough times in many different places around England and around the world, and just the way it sounds, it's got that warmth. It's got
this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and this one was, now I could say, British Lovers Rock. This is a wallpaper song. To me, this one was the wallpaper one.
Okay.
When I came to it.
Okay,
So by this time now at Jetstar, I could say, I was now doing British Lovers Rock. Still as well as Big People music. Jetstar still wanted me to stick to Big People music. He wanted that category because nobody else was actually doing it.
So you
on that level.
became the queen of Big People's Lovers Rock.
Yeah. Still wanted. He loved what I did before and was trying to capture that. But I was still wanting to come up to date and wanted to do Lovers Rock. So they got a bit of both.
Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, the time is now just gone after 5. We're going to give you about another 10 minutes, if you don't mind. And just to sort of give the audience the fact that you've entertained us today. And I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And you've been patient with me as well. You know what I mean? So a lot of my DJs are saying to me such and such and such, and we'll talk about that a little later on. But they love you. They do. And I'm sure the audience today and the big people, them who don't find time to go out together like they used to, would have loved to hear your voice over and over, and the songs that we've picked today. You know something? We both had a list here of questions to ask, but I haven't even used none of them today. I don't know why.
No, that's right. You haven't. I was ready for you now. I was ready for you.
You was ready for me?
What? You can do a part 2.
You want to? Well, if you love to do that, we'll love to have you here again. And I'm sure there's more things to talk about as well.
Yeah, you can do a part 2 and I can just fill you in a bit more. You can do a 15-minute slot or a 20-minute slot on the part 2 and get a little bit more.
Okay, well, people, you heard it for yourself. She wants to be back again with you and give another part of her life story. It is her story. And she's given us some things to smile about and feel good about. But before you do go, there's one song I want to play. We're going to take it down to one song right now. And you don't have to be a star to be part of my show. Did you write that one?
Right.
Did you write that one, or somebody else's song?
No, I didn't. That's a cover track. Oh gosh, name's gonna fail me right now. Guys, you're gonna have to go and seek out who's the original singer for that track.
Right.
Come back.
Okay, no problem. Let's
a quiz.
let's get the people that one there. You don't have to be a star to be part of my show. ScholarRadio.org.uk. Godfather here, talking to, of course, Donna Marie this afternoon here on this Bank Holiday weekend. It's a Monday. And I hope that you've taken time to enjoy the conversation with her. And we have more to talk about, so we'll join her again at another time, part 2. But let me just give you this one from her right now.
Yes, this is your girl, Donna Marie. You don't have to be a star to be a part of the Godfather Keep It Real Sunday show.
Baby, come as you are with all your heart, and I'll take you in. You've been rejected and hurt, and you deserve, and you love again. Now I don't need no superstar, 'cause I'll accept you as you are. You won't be denied, 'cause I'm satisfied with the love you inspire. You don't have to be a star, baby, to be in my show. You don't have to be a star, baby, to be in my
You don't have to be a star to be part of my show. I'm sure for a fact this song and many of your songs are songs that when women get dressed to get ready to go out to a dance, them dancing in front of the mirror to this tune. And some of your songs, them song your song.
Right.
You do.
And the track is called "You Don't Have to Be a Star to Be in My Show."
Yeah. Don't have to be a star. No one has to be a star to be part of the Godfather show. And I tell you, a lot of people gravitate to the fact that I can talk to people on a level, you know. And like you just said, like I said a while ago, we've got questionnaires each, and we haven't even. I think the one we talk about was the church.
Oh, we haven't even touched that.
No, you know what I mean. So we haven't spoke about another listing on the list that we have, but we can do that on part 2, and we'll give you a time and arrange a time that we can, you know, have the audience back again to talk about yourself and many more other things too as well.
Yeah.
It's like I say, it's a pleasure
All
having you. So, would you like to say anything to your fans right now before you go?
Yeah, first of all, I can say to God be the glory to everything that I've achieved in the music business. And I want to say to you guys, thank you so much for loving my music. I can feel the love, and I thank you all for your support, because if you weren't listening, if you weren't my ears, then I would not have been discovered. So thank you all so much for loving my music. Thank you for following me over the years, and thank you for your support. God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Love and light.
Donna Marie, manners and respect to you every single time. And keep up the good work until we meet again.
Yes, thank you so much, Godfather.
And I'll speak to you soon. Okay. Bye for now. Enjoy the rest of the day. All right, darling.
Yeah. You too, take care.
Yeah, man. Respect every time. Of course, Scanner Radio. Bye-bye. Okay, scannerradio.org.uk. The last track from her, These Arms of Mine. have it. There you have it, my people. The queen of big people's lovers rock, Donna Marie. I'm sure you can't argue with that right now. I tell you.
These arms of mine, they are burning to hold you. These arms of mine, they are yearning to love you. And if you would only let them hold you, oh, how grateful I would be. Oh, how grateful I would be. These arms of mine, they are yearning to hold you. These arms of mine, they are yearning to love you. And if you would only let them hold you, oh, how grateful I would be. Oh, how grateful I would be. These arms of mine, they are burning to hold you. These arms of mine, they are yearning to love you. And if you would only let them hold you, oh, how grateful I would be. Oh, how grateful I would be.
One more can I say, my people? What an interview.
Only let
What a
them
lady.
hold you.
What an experience. Some great stories there from her.
Come on. Won't you let them hold you?
Well, of course, we didn't get a chance to go through the listing that we both had. But she said, you heard it for yourself. She'd be happy to do a part 2 with me right now. So look forward to that.
These arms of mine, they are yearning to hold you. These arms of mine,
Absolutely.
they are
Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I must say, I enjoyed that conversation. I hope you enjoyed it as well. As she said at the start, she had been out the night before. She did sound a bit coarse in the beginning, but she warmed up good. She warmed up well, and she did well. Enough respect to Donna Marie, and shout going out to all her fans who were looking forward to part 2 to come.
Hi, this is Donna Marie. A big shout out to the Godfather. Keeping it real. Skyline Radio to the world.